Hey everyone, welcome to our special Christmas episode today. We're excited to share this time we've got some pretty funny stories coming up and a little bit freaky, but mostly just funny. Thanks for joining us. We have a giveaway book today. We are giving away Heather Moore's book, Seasoned with Love, part of her Prosperity Ranch series. And it's a really fun, really cute Christmas story. So a lucky viewer who leaves a comment will be able to win that book. Okay, so let's just jump right in and start with a story that Jenny has for us.
Okay. This is a story, and it's not something that you've never heard before, but I still really think it's amazing and really fun. There was a woman, her name was Leanne, and she went into the hospital on Christmas Day because she was having these stomach pains. And so they, take her in and do the tests, and they came and told her, "You're pregnant." And she was like, "No, there's no way. I haven't had any symptoms of pregnancy." And they said, "Well, you're not just pregnant, you're having your babies right now. Your babies." She had twins and she didn't even know she was pregnant. And so anyway, so it was kind of an interview with her, and she was saying that was her best Christmas because she had that surprise. And it blows me away. My brother and my sister have twins, and I can't even imagine that just being something that you don't know about one day and the next day you've got them and they're coming home with you. And oh my gosh, that blew my mind. So anyway, there's that. Christmas is a Christmas miracle. I hope she feels like it was.
Hopefully. I mean, it could go either way on that kind of situation, right?
Oh, she's young.
Yeah, I think she's like 21, but I don't know. It definitely could go either way.
Good. Yep.
So would you book it, Jen?
This is a hard one. I don't know if I could write it so that the reader would believe me. I can hardly believe it myself. I can't imagine not noticing a single pregnancy symptom when I had twins. So I would love to have it in my story, but I don't think I'm that talented enough of a writer to actually make a reader believe me that this woman did not know she was pregnant. So I can't do it, but man, good for her. I would love to have twins without even knowing I was pregnant.
Right. How about you, Heather?
So I wouldn't book it, but for a different reason than Jen, because I feel like it'd be very traumatic to write. Because, well, I understand like it is kind of, it is really an amazing story, is a miracle in itself. Not only not to know that you're pregnant, but to, have twins that are healthy and all that stuff. But I remember when my sister had twins, and they're 23 now, going on 23. And it was rough. My mother said if she ever has twins again, or anyone else has twins again, I am moving out of state. And it was, it's just a lot. And she had a little 2-year-old and, all this stuff. So I probably just wouldn't book it because I feel like, I don't know, it'd be kind of traumatic for me to read, and it would be hard. It'd be kind of stressful for me. Maybe in like 10 years I could read it. I'm beyond my PTSD is gone.
All right. How about you, Jennifer?
I would book it, but only like maybe 10 years later, where she's like a young 31-year-old mom, and she's
that would be fun.
10, yeah.
And then that's a smart way to handle it. That's
rough. Holy cow.
So I'm inclined to agree with Jen that I don't think I could write it in a way that would be plausible.
No.
Already you write something in a book and you get comments back, "Oh, that would never happen."
Right.
And you're like, well, it kind of did, but that's fine. So I'm inclined to agree. Too much implausibility there for me on that one. So our other story that we have now was sent in by a viewer named Rebecca, and it is a little bit gloomy and gory. So obviously it's my favorite one. And this actually is a little bit of a throwback to Thanksgiving, but they were gathered together for their Thanksgiving holiday dinner as a whole combined family. And this person's aunt, Rebecca's aunt, was an EMT at the time, and she was on call that evening. But she said, to everyone, "Don't worry, I won't get called in because it's never happened in all the years I've been on call for things." Anyway, so they're just getting ready to sit down for dinner, and her pager went off and she had to leave. and her grandpa, Rebecca's grandpa, left with the aunt to drive her because there was a huge blizzard and a huge snowstorm outside. So the grandpa drove him, but the grandpa came back in 30 minutes and rounded up every other eligible, able-bodied person that was older. Rebecca at this time was only 9 years old, so she stayed home, but all the others went out. And it turned out that what had happened was there had been a terrible accident in the blizzard, and a teen who was driving his car had gone through the window, the front windshield, and the broken glass had severed basically all of his fingers. And so the grandpa rounded up all of these people to go out in the blizzard and hunt through the snow to find the severed fingers. So they did find the fingers. The kid was rushed to the hospital. His fingers were all reattached. So it is a happy ending. But what a memorable holiday for that family, for reals. I mean, I can't even imagine. So that's the story. I'll start with Heather. Would you book it?
I don't know, because I love that. I just love modern medicine. I think it's just amazing. Because we've heard stories about things that can be reattached and they start to work fine. So it's a really cool story. At this point, I'd probably say no, but not that I couldn't figure it out later, like to put in just kind of a tragedy that turns into kind of a miracle, and a neat holiday story. So, but I do hate it when bad things happen like that, especially on holidays. You just feel like every year it's just going to be a huge trigger every holiday after that. So
yeah. How about you, Jenny? Would you book it?
No, it's horrible. I like just the image of all these people in the blizzard digging through the snow for someone's fingers. It's my grandpa cut his fingers off in the snowmobile, just like the tips of them, and they re-put them on. And it was so traumatic. I can't even imagine a teenager or, this young. Nope, I would not book it, but I'm glad I heard it. I appreciate it.
Jen, how about you?
I can't book it. I can't. It's already stuck in my head forever.
I'm gonna cry. I'm laughing so hard. It's a sad story. It's a sad story with a happy ending. I, of course, would totally.
It's like the best story.
But I understand the feeling because, truth be told, both my mom and my brother have lost fingers to the table saw.
Oh.
And it was super traumatic, right? My mom's were reattached and she has some mobility. My brother doesn't have a finger, and I have no one in my family is ever allowed to use a table saw.
Yeah.
So it would be super tragic, but I think it would be interesting to put in from the point of view of maybe someone looking for the finger, someone more on the outside and less right in the middle of the tragedy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whose finger are we looking for again? Right on the street.
I mean, I would not want to find it, but want to, but
right. Yeah.
Well, you rise to the occasion, right? When you got to find the fingers, you got to find the fingers.
You just do it.
I would not resist. I would do it, but I don't want to write about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've just got a couple more quick, little, short, really funny, interesting holiday, I don't know, crazy catastrophes maybe that we're just going to share to wrap up this little holiday season quickly. So, Heather, you want to start with yours?
Yeah. So mine is awesome. So it's a story of a young girl who wakes up on Christmas morning and there's a kitten under their Christmas tree and playing in their Christmas tree. And she is so ecstatic. She thinks, oh my gosh, my parents got me a cat for Christmas. And then the cat goes kind of rogue because obviously the cat is not used to people. So it starts ripping into presents and running around and jumping on the couches and scratching the couches. And parents come down and say, who's let this cat in the house? I guess it's a wild cat that was kind of stalking around their house for a few days. So the cat somehow got in, maybe through a window, but I would totally adopt the cat and tame it and feed it until it was nice and stop tearing things apart.
That's funny.
I love it.
Jen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I know. Okay, I was just lingering in the cat. Mine has nothing to do with cats. This is my little new friend. So there was a family who discovered a skunk in their garage on Christmas. And the men in the family, how they do, came up with this plan. And they grabbed this big towel and they thought for sure if they just cover the skunk with a towel, they could get rid of it. And when it sprayed, it wouldn't get them and it wouldn't smell. Well, we all know that failed miserably. All 25 people that were there at that Christmas crammed to the very back part of the house as far away as they could. They had towels over their faces and they ate crackers for Christmas because their whole dinner, their food smelled, they smelled, the whole house smelled. And that's their Christmas memory.
Oh gosh.
Funny.
Jennifer?
Okay. My story is, I read it. It's this girl in England. She was riding home on the subway on the tube on Christmas Eve, and she fell asleep, and she woke up Christmas morning and she was locked in the cold, and her phone was dead, and she was like in a side parking lot thing where they put the trains when no one's using them. And I just thought that was such a funny story for her to wake up and be like, where am I?
Oh my gosh, she must be a deep sleeper. That's
I know, right?
Yeah. So my story is it's a dog story, and you can see where it's headed already, but I can relate to this because it's a little weird. So this family had recently adopted a dog from a shelter, and the dog kind of had a little bit of separation anxiety, and it got destructive when it was left home alone. So they always put the dog in one of those kennels, like a crate, right? And so it was Christmas Day. They put the dog in the crate. They went out for a few hours and they came back, and the dog somehow had scooted. He was still inside the crate, but he had somehow like jump smashed into the crate hard enough that it traveled 7 feet across the floor over to the Christmas tree. The dog had managed to pull the whole Christmas tree down on top of his crate and had literally eaten everything that he could get his mouth on through the crate. Ribbons, bows, ornaments, the tree, everything. So, destruction by dog, but I don't know how the dog managed to do that while still kenneled in the crate.
It must have been one that had like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like plastic.
Yeah, like we have big dogs and we have crates for them, and they're like just like a wire mesh.
Yeah. And so he could kind of.
Yeah. And so
know.
pieces of it had gone through the kennel grating. And anyway, that's pretty funny to me, being a dog owner. So, yeah. All right, Jen, would you book any of those stories?
Yeah, I think I might try to find a way to book all of them. They were funny. I liked them. It was just little fun, little maybe rom-com-y kind of ideas. I thought it was fun.
How about you, Jennifer?
I thought they were rom-com-y. The one about, I just keep thinking that train one was so funny, and hopefully the conductor guy that's just doing his Christmas inspections came across her and rescued her, and they had Christmas together and lived happily ever after.
That's a lot of potential for that one. How about you, Heather?
I think they all have potential, because I look at it as maybe like a Home Alone, where like one disaster happens after another. Like they could all fit into the same story and just be like the common errors.
I would definitely book it too. I think they're fun, they're cute, they're lighthearted, and would lighten up and give a reader a good chuckle anywhere in a book. So, all right. Well, thank you, viewers, for being with us. We're so grateful to all of you for watching. We hope you all have a wonderful, happy Christmas and a great holiday season. Don't forget that you can watch these on YouTube. You can like and subscribe to us on YouTube. And please send us any of your submissions to fictionirlauthors@gmail.com. And again, comment so you can win a copy of Heather's really fun book. And we will see you in the next year for
Fiction
in
Real
Life.
Yay.